Good morning, Shawn here with AO, ready for another mentor session. Let's get this thing started. First question comes from AJ, and AJ says, what can I expect as our business grows to $250,000 in revenues this year? The background is this year my marketing agency's revenue goal is $250,000, which is about 1.5 times what we grossed in 2021. I know that things are going to change, and I'm wondering if you can help me to begin thinking about what some of those things may be. Right now, I do a lot of the work that we sell, but have already begun outsourcing and building an internal team. In your experience, what else can I expect as we grow towards this revenue goal? Thanks. Awesome, AJ. One of the things I would want to do as I look to grow with that pretty significantly, 100%, is to start taking a look at my cash flow. As you hire people, you want to maintain your cash flow, of course. So you want to see if you can project what type of cash flow you're going to need in order to cover expenses. The next thing I'd start to look for is where do you need the most help in your business from a project management and fulfillment perspective. Because one of the things that we want to look at when we're going from 100 to 250 is where is your time best suited, while also focusing on that the number one thing that the business needs right now is new clients and revenue. So if it's you, then your time must be focused on getting new clients and bringing on new clients, or hiring a salesperson to do that for you. Everything at this stage of the business should revolve around sales. Sales is the number one priority, and then our responsibility as the owner is to then be able to manage the operations to fulfill the client work. And so we want our revenue generating hours, the time that we could be calling on clients, we want to put as much time and attention in that as we can, and then do the customer fulfillment stuff after hours and on the weekends. This is how myself and many other multimillionaire business owners, this is how we started and grew our company from a bootstrapping perspective. Revenue generating hours during those times, and then administrative and processing type of stuff after. And that's how you can go from 100 to 250. And during that time, you want to keep just plugging away at your organizational chart and figuring out what are all the different pieces of the puzzle from a team perspective that you need to do. I've got 4 other mentors answering this for you as well. Next question comes from Kristen, and Kristen says, at what point should someone consider changing an LLC to an SCorp, or changing an LLC to an SCorp? The background is my coaching business is an LLC right now, but I know that I'm paying self-employment taxes because of that. Is there a threshold for when I should turn it into an SCorp? For more detail, I'm 50% shareholder in another SCorp, so I'm somewhat familiar with what I need to do to pay myself W-2 income. I'm just not sure at what point this should be considered or how to change the classification. Kristen, I've got a couple of our CPA mentors that are going to answer this for you. I don't think it matters as far as LLC or S corporation as far as your self-employment taxes. Now, that's just my novice businessman hat coming on. You can set yourself up as a W-2 employee and start paying yourself that way right now to avoid the self-employment taxes. And then at the end of the year, when your CPA does your taxes, they'll figure out if after paying yourself your salary and compensation, was there any additional profit in the company? And a LLC and an S corporation, I believe, are taxed identically as it's flow through to whoever the members or the shareholders are in the company. So it's gonna flow through the exact same way. So I'm gonna have Tyler and Jeff and Mark answer this for you as well, but I believe that's correct, but they'll be able to give you a 100% with certainty. But that's certainly a question you always want to talk with your accountant on. Any type of tax advice, we want to talk to our accountant. Any type of legal advice, we truly want to talk to our attorney. It's always great to get different feedback from other entrepreneurs like myself and some others, but at the end of the day, when we're talking about taxes and legal, we want real representation, okay? Get into the habit of that. I always say it's like the worst expense paying a CPA and paying an attorney, but it is just part of doing business, okay? Okay, the next question comes from Felicia, and Felicia says, what's the best way to move away from the service I offer, which is healing? doing one-on-one with clients into a membership format, and how do I price it appropriately? The background is I have 18 courses and programs on healing and energy work that I can roll into a membership site. I want to offer this to people for a monthly fee and other teachers and healers that I bring in to do monthly teaching. I want to stay out of this. I don't have the revenue upfront to pay people to host classes online, so I'm not sure how to phase into this. Would tiered pricing be best, or even a lifetime option? I'm gonna get a few other people to answer this for you as well, Felicia, but I gotta tell you, there's a red flag that I hear in what you said here, which is, I want to stay out of this. Whew. When someone makes a comment like that to me, I feel like they are extremely burnt out, and that is not a good sign. That means that either A, you've gone too long as a solopreneur and a freelancer, and now you're experiencing the burnout stage because you were never taught how to scale it into a real business, or you're doing something that you just truly don't enjoy. Because I can't imagine if you're a healer and you like working with clients and helping them change their life, that you would want to stay out of that and that you don't want to do that anymore. So the first thing I would say is, based on that, I would certainly dig within and determine, do you really enjoy doing the type of work you're doing as a company and what have you? Or are you just doing something that you need to stop doing and figure out how to do something else? Because at this stage of your business, being burnout and not even liking helping clients, that is going to show through to your clients, and it's going to prevent you from growing your business. Now, to answer your question, if it were me and I had 18 courses and programs ready to go on healing work, I would be focusing all my time and attention on creating a platform very similar to AO. And I believe that there's a good website. I wanted to own all of my content and own everything without licensing a platform like Kajabi, Kajabi. I wanted to own my own and build my own so I could have my own look and feel and everything. And so I used WordPress and Entreport, and I also use a bunch of other things like Vimeo and YouTube and all kinds of stuff. But Entreport and WordPress is what I use, but I had to design everything from scratch, which was very expensive. However, I believe that you can create a membership website on Kajabi, and they actually have a free full university type thing on how to build a great membership site. So that's where I would go, is I would probably dive into Kajabi and start building out that membership site. But here, remember this, at the end of the day, one of the things that you hear about, like on a television show like Shark Tank, is when someone's building a mobile application and now they want to grow. Building the technology and building out the platform or the site is actually the simplest part. It's the simplest part. The hardest part and the most expensive part is driving traffic to those sites and getting people to sign up. So there's a simultaneous thing that we have to do, you and I, because we're almost in the same business, AO, and what you're trying to build, is I had to be a high-level expert at what I did, which I am as a business mentor and an entrepreneur, and then I worked my fucking ass off for years on Instagram, Periscope. I mean, for years, working 12 to 18 hours a day, answering questions, putting out content, networking with other people to grow my accounts, advertising my accounts with other people so that my account could grow, doing live streams, building value. And then I started AO and what has turned into AO. And so the focus has got to be on building the audience and figuring out where you're going to get clients, because sending cold traffic to your membership site and expecting that people are just going to immediately purchase from a cold traffic to your site and then convert, very, very difficult these days, because you're up against some of the biggest gurus and authoritative experts in the world, like Tony Robbins and Don DePani and all these other people that have huge name recognition, that because they have the masses, they can basically charge the exact same thing that you're charging, but they make a heck of a lot more money because they get millions of people involved. So don't forget that the number one thing is not necessarily how much you charge in the beginning. It's how are you going to get clients? Where are you going to find them in order to build a relationship where they want what you have? And so that's where I would be focusing a lot of time and attention. So remember, one of the things that we talk about in AO is there's two sides to business. The first side is being the industry expert, product expert, service expert, industry expert, client expert, understanding your target client, that expertise. That's one side of your business. The other side of the business is the business side of your business. The 4 pillars: sales and marketing to get clients, financials, understanding your financials to manage cash flow and make a profit, operations, how to manage your team, logistics, customer service, all those types of things. And then your branding, just getting your messaging and your vision and your culture and core values and everything together. So if you're not also involved in some industry expert Facebook groups and things where you are learning from other successful healers on what's working for them as they build their business, get into some of those groups and industry type, trade type things to learn how to understand and get your product and service out there the best way. AO is going to help you on the business side of business, like I'm doing right now, giving you some advice on what to do. But you also got to get out there and learn how to actually grow the business side as an industry. So to answer, dive in a little deeper on your question, I started off AO. It used to be called Most One I Will. I started with a lifetime fee of $99. Got a bunch of people involved, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot of work. I changed it to $149. Then I went to $199, and then I went to $249. Then I changed, and this was all over the course of maybe a year and a half, a long time. But remember, fortunately, I had a bunch of money already saved up, so it wasn't really about the money. I didn't need it to pay bills. If I had needed it to pay bills, I probably would approach this a whole different way of building AO. Then I went to $10 a month. Then I went to $48 a month, and now we're at $99 per month. And I would guess at some point as we grow, we'll go to $199 a month because I certainly know the value is there, but I've had to build relationships and build clientele and get some stability. And all of this just takes time to do this and to build those relationships. So you might want to start off, if you have a relationship with some really amazing clients already that want to work with you on an ongoing basis, to build cash flow quick, certainly a lifetime option is fantastic. Just remember, when you give somebody a lifetime option, if you're, let's say, 35 years old right now, and you're going to have this business for 20 years, they literally only going to pay you that one-time fee for 20 years worth of work. That's a lot, right? So we want to definitely limit limit the lifetime, how many of those you do. Don't fall into the trap of just doing it for cash flow, and then you don't have any more cash flow. Now you've got these lifetime members that you have to do work for, and you have no money coming in, and then you end up closing shop. And so I only let a few people in as lifetime members. I charge $2,500 now. It used to be $1,500. But my goal is that I'm going to get somebody in and through AO within at least 5 years. And that way, after 5 years, they have $1 million business and they become a mentor. And now we've created a second tier of AO for people that are doing 7 figures and above and want more one-on-one attention. And that we charge $15,000 a year for that now. And so that can kind of give you some ideas. You also, of course, have to take into consideration your own personal finances, like how much money do you need to have on a monthly basis? And so you might put together pricing that at least if you know I can get 10 clients a month and I need $2,000 a month to survive, I've got to charge $200 a month. So we have to take our personal finances into play as well. So long answer, but hopefully that helps you, okay? Maybe that's going to inspire some additional questions for you. But I've got about 7 other mentors that are going to answer that for you as well and give you some insight. The next question comes from Dina, and Dina says, how do I start wholesaling wedding dresses to bridal shops? The background is I am a wedding dress designer and have some interest from bridal shops about carrying my dresses in their stores. What do I need to know about beginning to wholesale, as I've never done this before? What sort of contracts do I need to have in place? What needs to be included in the contract? What questions do I need to ask the bridal stores, etc.? Okay, I'm going to have about 7 other mentors answer this for you, and they can give you some insight. But here's my idea. Talk to some bridal store owners and find out what they need. Those bridal store owners are already buying dresses from other designers and have contracts. If it were me, you know what I would do? I would ask them to give me a copy of those contracts and I would rip off and duplicate what they're already doing. Somebody else has already hired an attorney firm to put together a contract. The bridal store already approved it and signed it. Why recreate the wheel? Just get it from them. I did this many times when I was building my last company, Uniguest, as I would get copies of other people's contracts and I would then take it to my attorney and say, I just want this exact same thing. So if you build up a relationship with a couple bridal store owners and they trust you, they'll give you those contracts. That's the fastest way. Then you want to talk to the bridal store owners and say, okay, what is your buying process with these other companies that you're buying dresses from? What's the lead time? What kind of volumes, discounts, what kind of inventory management, consignment, all payment terms, all those types of things. The bridal store owner will tell you exactly what you need to have in order to do business with them. That's the easiest and best path of least resistance to answer all of these questions. I'm interested to see what the other mentors say about if they would do it the same way. Okay, the next question comes from Nadia, and Nadia says, when first starting out in business as a stylist, to make extra money, would you have a second job or a side hustle or a gig? The background is currently I rent space in a salon that someone else owns, and I'm a hairstylist. My goal is to own my own and rent space and have my own salon with stylists that work in my studio. Currently, I have a few slow months throughout the year and wondering if working a second job would take away from my focus. I do work a few days a month at a bar, but I've been thinking about picking up more. I simply want to build enough savings to be able to get my own space to grow in. What would you recommend? Absolutely. You know, Mary put a question or did a Facebook, a Flex Friday today, and she was saying, you know, I'm working all the time, and I know that I am. I'm prioritizing money over friendships and relationships, and I wonder if when is too much, and the greed and all this type of stuff. What I have experienced in my own personal life, and this is different for everybody, I assume, which is, you know, at certain phases in my life, I had different priorities. When I was younger and didn't have a lot of money, my priority was on money. And it was a very difficult time when I didn't have mentors and I didn't have focus to stay focused on making the money. I would fall off the wagon, if you will, and I would go party for a couple nights. And just because I didn't have a lot of focus, I didn't have anybody to talk to, and I would just go get some instant gratification, and I would blow money that I shouldn't, and I would blow time that I didn't have, and I was on this really vicious cycle. And it wasn't that I was trying to self-sabotage. I was just lonely because I didn't have a lot of friends who understood me. I didn't have a group like AEO, and I didn't really have a lot of focus. I was just kind of grasping at strings. But since you have focus, that you know that you need to create a nest egg of a certain amount of money in order to facilitate getting that location, then you have AO, you got a great group of entrepreneur friends that can support you and be there to keep you going when you're kind of feeling like maybe you're burning the candle at both ends, but that's part of building what you're going to build. And so, yes, I would, if it were me in your shoes, I would be looking at, okay, I know that I need to be at the salon during these hours and I can't do anything about it. While I'm not working with a client, what are some things that I could do to be getting more clients while I'm there? Because it's not like you can leave your studio and go work a few hours at a restaurant or DoorDash or Uber because you need to be in your studio. So as soon as my studio hours are closed and I call it a night and I clean up and my station's done, bam, I would be 100% starting to make money. So what I would recommend, Nadia, is how much money do you make per hour at the bar? Do you make $20 or $25 an hour every single hour, or does it fluctuate each week? But the reason I say that is there are a lot of gigs that you can definitely make 20 to 25 bucks an hour every single hour that you work. And so think about it. If you work an extra 30 hours a week at night, and on the days that you might have your studio closed, that's 30 times, let's just say 25, that's $750 a week. Times 4 weeks, that is $3,000 a month of extra money that you can use to save towards your property. okay? In just 6 months, you could have $18,000. Now, I proved this concept with Demarius, who was a member in the group that you've heard me talk about. I told him, if you can survive off your paycheck from Walgreens, I want you to pick up an extra side gig and save $10,000 in 6 months. Boom, he did it. Then after 6 months, I said, cool, now that you've got $10,000 to work with, turn that into $25,000 by the end of the year. Boom, he had $25,000 in 1 year. So if I was in your shoes, I would be like, how much money do I need in order to get my own shop? What is that number? Okay. If you need help figuring out that number, maybe talk to Dan Abate on one of his Zooms and start putting together a spreadsheet of all of the capital need requirements for you to be able to get it. To get the lease, to fill out the furniture, the branding, the signs, turn on the lights, all that type of stuff. You can start putting together that homework as we've talked about. And then I would be working every single day with a goal to save a certain amount a month to be able to get to that spot as soon as possible. Because you know what it is you want in the future. Now we just go, okay, how fast do we want to get it? So I don't think that that's taking away from your salon business, because when you show up at the salon, you're there from this hour to this hour, and you're gonna want to maximize the amount of money that you make during those times. But your salon's not open 24 hours a day, but you can work 24 hours a day. Okay, I'm not literally, but you know what I mean. If you're only working 50 hours a week at your salon, you've got another 30 hours a week easy that you could work, making $25 an hour and putting away $3,000 a month. And remember this. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you have to spend it. And here's another thing. If you work at your salon full time and then go work another 30 hours a week, you're not going to be out socializing and spending money because you're going to be so fucking tired that when you get done, you just want to go to sleep and repeat the process. You can do that for a year. You can do that for 2 years. Welcome to being a bootstrapping entrepreneur. This is what separates people that can do it and those that don't. What is our saying? Most won't, I will. Most people won't do it. They'll find every excuse why they shouldn't and can't. You can. You need to. You will. Do it. All right. Next question comes in from Grant. And Grant says, how do I determine what amount of pay would be best for a new trainer for my online coaching business? The background is I own an online back rehab coaching business. I am hiring some online trainers to help me grow the business. My company will obtain the clients and do all of the admin work, and the trainers will train clients. How do I determine the best rate to pay for them? Okay, fantastic. One of the things I do is maybe look at the industry norm. Like if you're going to be hiring 1099 trainers possibly, where they might just do 1099 work for you, maybe have some conversations with some of the trainers that you want to work with and find out what the going rate would be. Get some feedback from them. And remember, they're going to know how much you're charging. So you can't be charging, $500 and only pay them $50 usually. So I would look at my industry rate as far as per hour type stuff and make sure that you're within rate there. Okay. And make sure you're charging enough to your clients that you are going to be building in some of that. I mean, if it were me, I would look at how much I'm charging, what the going rate would be, and then I would tend to lean on a type of compensation plan with the trainers that pays them a little bit more when they work longer hours, like more hours per week for me. And then I might build in some incentive compensation that if they're with me for 3 months and they successfully complete X amount of hours on average per week over 3 months, I might give them an incentive compensation bonus and then a 6 month and then maybe a year. Because the longer that you have somebody certified as a trainer working with you, the less cost you're going to have going out and finding another one and getting them trained on your system. There's always a big upfront cost to onboarding new team members. Usually they say it's about 20% of the annual salary just to onboard and replace somebody. So I like to build in incentive compensation plans to keep the people on with me for a while. So that might be something to do. I can't give you really a dollar amount, Grant, because I'd have to know your financials, but those are the things that I would look at. And then of course you have to look at your own cash flow and financial statement and say, am I making a profit if I do this? Because I know it's just you and your mom right now, but as you grow your business from where you are now to doubling and tripling, you're going to have to bring on some additional admin team members to be shared resources to support all those other trainers, project managers, maybe facilitators, concierges like I have with Shirley here in the group to manage all your clients and trainers. And so keep in that cost of expense that you're going to have for the company as well. Okay? Hope that helps, brother. Okay, last question comes from Patricia. And Patricia says, do you use the same content for all social media platforms? What's the best way to market between platforms without being redundant? The background is I'm an insurance broker on life, health, and Medicare, and also a personal and business consultant. I'm looking to streamline my brand so that my message is clear and provides value. I'm starting over in business and a bit overwhelmed. In addition, I'm wanting to stay innovative with using social media, yet remain authentic. So Patricia and I already spoke about this, and we determined that social media is probably not the best place for her right now because she doesn't have the budget to hire some graphic designers and copywriters and facilitators of social media. And to be able to get life insurance clients from social media usually isn't the best bet. That's more of a business to business or business to consumer type of business model. So what we want to do is find a way to get leads, purchase leads, get leads by either working for a company that provides leads or by purchasing leads. And so we're working with you, Patricia, on that. But to answer this question from a social media perspective, oh, my mom is in here. Marge Doty is watching. Hey, Mom. You will never be too redundant by having the same content on different platforms. So whether it's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever it might be, you can facilitate using the exact same content everywhere. The challenge is that when you record, whether it's videos or images, each platform seems to have their desired size, frame size, and quality or pixel size for the platform. So that's why it's like if you're going to be cross-platform, it makes it really challenging for an individual to manage recording a video and then editing it for Instagram stories, Instagram Reels, Instagram newsfeed, TikTok, YouTube. It is very painful to manage all those processes, which is why I recommend hiring someone to do that stuff for you, because you want to focus your time and attention, of course, on revenue generating opportunities, working with clients and getting new clients and doing all that administrative work to do the social media. It's a lot of work, and it can cost you anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000, $15,000 a month to hire a team to take your content and then disperse it among all different platforms. And people do that. That's why I pretty much strictly only do Instagram. I have a TikTok account, but I just don't even have the time or desire to learn how to do all the different things that people are doing on TikTok. So I don't think TikTok is where my real audience is. It's a younger audience. My audience is on Instagram. And so that's where I'm focused right now. And I've already, spent so much time building up the audience. But so anyways, yes, you can use the same content, but it can be painful. There are a couple of softwares that you can use. One of the softwares that I use is called Planoly. Planoly. It's a great software to use to upload the content in what we call batches, where you can, hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Anyways, you can record a bunch of content or even design 30 days worth or a week worth if you can, upload it to Planoly, schedule it, and then boom, it just goes ahead and posts it across different platforms for you. I don't know if it does TikTok, but it definitely does Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And so that's a software I use. Another simple graphic design website for just simple stuff that you can use is called Canva, Canva. Once again, I wouldn't recommend for you to be an expert at using Canva and using Planoly and doing all these things yourself. I would focus on bringing in cash flow and getting clients as soon as possible in order to be able to pay people to do those things. It's kind of a chicken and the egg. Some people say, well, I want to use social media to get my clients, and that works for certain types of businesses. But man, it is painful. And anybody here in the group that's watching this who does their own content, I know Grant does a lot of, Grant who has Rehab RX, man, his content and videos are off the charts. He might be a person for you to talk to about all the videos he does and the editing and all that. I know he works his tail off, and he does really, really well. Tyler McBroom, one of your mentors, he does a great job with Instagram. So I'm going to make sure that he answers this for you as well. So, all right, there's food for thought. Okay. That is it for today's mentor session. Hope you guys have a great Flex Friday. I want to see what you guys are up to. And anybody watching this on the YouTube channel, welcome to AO. Get in AO. Hope to see you in AO. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day.